Sales and marketing hitman, your humble hip hop sales coach Tiger Toledo, and you already know what it is, man. You rocking with the best. You heard? So I was talking to my brother who lives out in Florida right now, and it's funny, man. This is what prompted the video because the title of this video is "Cherry Pick to Build Your Confidence Up." So you know how people will say, I come from a long line of this. I come from a long line of hustlers. I come from a long line of pimping. I come from a long line of whatever, right? Well, in my legacy, I come from a long line of high achievers, for one, but I also come from a long line of womenizers, right? And when you're able to, I'm going to give you a secret sauce. This is extremely helpful, extremely helpful. As you're going through things in life, you're going to see different type of accomplishments that you're going to have, right? You're going to have certain type of accomplishments in life that you can actually build on. What I want you to do is cherry pick on the things that actually can help build your confidence. We all know there's chaos in this world. I'll give you, this is a true life example. My father was a womanizer. He was married and had mistresses. My brothers, both of them were very successful with women. My uncles was just, they were, you know what I mean, married multiple times, multiple women at the same time, all kind of shit, right? So I knew that I had that in me, right? I had that, that skill to be very, very successful with the ladies. I'm gonna say that. When I was young, my brother died of AIDS, right? Fucked me up, fucked my whole world up, my perception of everything, right? And I said to myself, I can go down this path of being, this this guy that would finesse women and just like, be real successful with women and have a bunch of women or whatever. But when my brother died of AIDS, it it restructured everything that I did. And it put me in a position to approach dating differently, right? So I started looking more for meaningful relationships, right? But still used a lot of the tactics that I saw my family members use to find the perfect woman, which I've been married to her for the last 16 years. Over time in life, you will learn things about yourself that you can actually cherry pick from. When you go for a job interview, you know what they do when they have this pile of applications? What they do is they cherry pick the strongest applicants to hire into their organization. You can actually do the same thing. You can cherry pick some of your strongest strengths and continue to build on it over and over and over again. And it makes you even more deadly. It makes you even more powerful because you chose your strengths to build upon. That makes sense? And you guys can actually chime in and chat on this because this is live. You can use those skills. So you're gonna, when you run into some shit in life, you're going to need that confidence to build upon. When my uncle passed away, right? Heart complications, the things that run into black males, heart complications, diabetes, he had that stuff. And he gave me something that my father was never really able to give me, which was a supreme level of confidence in myself. Because when my mom passed away and I moved to Chicago, I was distraught. I was fucked up, y'all. I was in these streets. Like when I really look back at it, yeah, I was a terror in these streets because I didn't give a fuck no more. You know what I'm saying? The person that I wanted to please the most, which was my mom, was gone. And there are a lot of homeless people. There are a lot of drug addicts in this world that never recovered from that. I was starting to spiral down. And when I moved to Chicago, my uncle built up my confidence in a level. I hope there is somebody in your life that can do that for you in the most darkest times of your life. Hopefully, I can be that person for you once in a while. And let me tell you something. You're going to have to cherry pick your strengths. So when my uncle passed away, right, I had a job at Bally Total Fitness. I was a receptionist, but I desperately wanted to get into sales. I finally got my shot in sales. I did pretty good. And then they said to me, all right, now we're going to take away the salary portion and you're going to be 100% commission. I didn't believe I had the strengths and talent to actually pursue sales on 100% commission capacity. I was petrified because when you're 100% commission, that means you do not get paid unless you sell something. You eat what you kill, basically, right? I was like, that means I have no cushion. I just got this studio apartment. What if I can't pay my rent? I don't have nobody in Chicago. I could be homeless, yo. Like, it was a very, very dark and scary time for me. I made a couple of sales, but it was very, very scary. So what happened is I had to make a decision. They said, you have 2 weeks to make a decision. You can either go back to being a receptionist where I can guarantee my pay, but my pay is going to be, what, $8, $9 an hour. Or I can continue on this path of the unknown, which is sales, and there is no limit to the amount of money I can make. Very scary times. I just put the security deposit down on my studio apartment, small little north side Chicago north side studio apartment. I was eating ramen noodles. You know what I mean? Like shit was tight. You know what I mean? I'm shopping at all these. You know what I mean? bread and breads, bread, mayonnaise, and salami sandwiches. You know what I mean? It was rough. No support system. The way I was able to cherry pick to build my confidence up, and I didn't have anybody, was to go to the bookstore. I'm giving you the real deal. I was going to Barnes and Noble and I would select books that would help build my confidence up. Yes, I was. I was in the what do you call it? Self-improvement aisle. Absolutely. I was in there. I was reading the Anthony Robbins book when people look at that time, like now, right now it's more acceptable, but back then people looked at you kind of weird and shit, like, the fuck you in the self-development side? Like, they looked at me like, like, what's wrong with him? Is he kind of like mental? Like, you know what I mean? I'm reading to build my confidence up. They looked at you weird and shit when you was in the self-development aisle. But I didn't give a fuck, right? I was reading the Anthony Robbins book. I was reading books about Zig Ziglar, and what I was doing, I was cherry picking the things that can actually help build my confidence up. So by the time they pulled me into the office and they say, all right, what do you want to do, man? You want to go back to being a receptionist, or do you want to take this path of the unknown? Scariest decision to this day I had to make. And I said, I choose to stay in the sales position. And my life never been the same ever since. You're going to be faced with certain things in your life. You're going to need what and I call it the cow that you can always get milk from. You're going to need that cow that you can always get milk from. The one that you could just keep milking that cow. Find what that is. It cannot be something that you rely on another person for, because if they let you down or they get too busy, or they something comes up in their life, or they pass away, you're left shit up the creek. You need something that you can always rely on. And I'll tell you, I'll give you a few examples to help you navigate through this. Let's say I'm having a brain fart, right? Like I just can't think creatively, or I'm trying to roll out a new project. Where do I hone in? Where's the cow that I can milk from, right? I start looking at TV shows, the most unpopular TV shows like QVC and HSN, Home Shopping Network. And because of the way they market, the way they tell stories, I always am able to get inspiration from that. Today we have YouTube. I can look at different ways of marketing on that. I could go to Starbucks and see how they market for the holiday season. I always have a source that I can go get the milk from. You understand what I'm saying? Let's say the internet goes down, and I'm still having this inertia in my mind, like I can't get out of my rut. Where else can I go to get inspiration? I know that when I go to the Museum of Art and Science in downtown Chicago, I can actually get inspiration by seeing other artists create stuff. I look at paintings and I get inspiration. I go to museums and I get inspiration of creativity. You understand? It has nothing to do with anybody else. Nobody holds that power in my life to control where I draw inspiration from. See, here's the thing where people have, well, you'll see a lot of people, they'll start off really strong, and then they begin to fizz out. Let me shed some light on why that happens. It's because they're following and they're getting their milk from a person. So when you model a person too often, the person God may have called them to go somewhere differently. And they switch it up on you. They switch the game up on you, and you're like, ooh, I didn't expect that. I can't keep doing that. I can't keep, I've seen a person that started off in the credit repair business, and then they decided to pursue being a chef. So anybody that was following them on the credit repair business, they kind of like, you know what I mean? They got lost in the sauce because this person decided to take a different trajectory for their life, and now they're pursuing being a chef. So now they're left in the dust, and guess what? Their content starts to go down. They no longer have that passion. They no longer have that cow that they can get the milk from. You need to find sources where it's overflown. It's just completely overflown. Like you can always get creativity, inspiration, motivation, strategies, tactics, principles, just nonstop forever. Some people will study the Bible intently, Proverbs, just to get a strong acumen of how they should run their business. Will the Bible ever stop being in print? Never. Never. They'll always be able to tap into the Bible, right? So now a person that chooses to follow them, They don't realize that they're drawing their source from the actual Bible. You know what I mean? Don't let the source be another person. Let the source be something infinite. Let the source be something infinite that you can always draw from. Because when those hard times come, you're, and that person's not available, or you can't find the content, you need these things to cherry pick from. I'm talking about cherry pick from the accomplishments that you have in your life. Hey, when I was in high school, I got an award for writing. I know I'm good at writing. Let me start writing. When I was working out, I bench pressed 240 pounds. I need to get back to that. When I was, in the best shape of my life, I used to do more cardio and I was eating better. I need to get back to that to get into better shape, to get more clarity. You understand what I mean? Cherry pick on the things that you know that you have done in your life, even if it was way back in the day. Even if it was way back in the day. Because this shit is war, y'all. We out here, man. Like, as much as we would like the world to be a better place, this shit is rough out here. It really is. Business is warfare. I don't know what they told you, man, but business is warfare. Why do you think I inject military mindset things, although I didn't go to the military? You know what I mean? Like, I have the Notary War Room. I have the Notary SEAL team, like military-esque type of stuff. Because I understand, like, business is warfare. I'll give you an example. You're a hairstylist or you're a barber. That barber right next to you is competition. Let's be honest. You might be working in the same barbershop, but that barber that's cutting a better fade than you, that's dyeing that girl's hair better than you, that's competition, because now your customer is looking directly at that person. Let me give you some real shit. Is looking at that person and be like, ooh, I like the way that person gives a fade. My barber doesn't give a fade like that. Next time I'm going over to that barber, and they literally will chair hop. They will chair hop. You've probably done it yourself. I've done it. You know what high-end barbers and salon people do? They remove themselves out of that competitive environment. And you either come to see them in a time where there's no other barbers, or maybe they even took their show on the road and they got one of those mobile, one of those Sprinter trucks, and they'll bring the barbershop to you. They separated themselves away from that competitive environment because they understand that's warfare. High-end barbers, you come into a salon and then they bring you into a section where it's just you and that barber or salon, the person that does the, whatever you call it, a beautician. You're going to be in a private room because they don't want that type of distraction there. It's serious, y'all. So I need you to equip yourself. Find that cow that you can milk forever. Find that endless well that you can always draw from. Find that endless source where you can continually get inspiration from. Today we live in an era where you can watch Eric Thomas until you're blue in the face. You can put videos of Les Brown on repeat. These guys have archived their work for decades. They didn't have that when I was doing things, man. You either had a book or you had a book. That's it. Today, we have Audible. We can listen to a audible download that says how to build a champion mindset. Listen to those things, man. Build that grit, that hunger, that I'm not a house dog. I am a fucking wolf. I am a tiger. Like, you can always tell a person, like, if you could be any animal in the wild, what animal would you be? The motherfucker that says they'll be a ferret, he's like, dude, you just want to be you want to be prey. You want to be roadkill. You want to be food, basically. You want to be an apex predator in this world, meaning you're not a victim to no one. You don't want to be a victim to no one. This is the era that we live in. You do not have to be an entrepreneur to be successful in life anymore. Yeah, we can find out how to move stocks. We can find out how to buy cryptocurrency while still having your day job. This is a phenomenal time that we live in right now. Milk this shit. Milk it like you have no tomorrow. Milk it like somebody got a gun to your head. And perform and execute. I believe in you guys, man. I've been in some dark ass places, y'all. The grace of God, man. I'm here talking to you guys, man. Like I thought I was a good kid. Now that I reflect back, I was a fucking terror. I was a troublemaker. And what's funny is the word disruptor, that's just a nice way of calling a motherfucker a troublemaker. The word disruptor is this person's a troublemaker. That's what it is. I was a troublemaker. That's why I'm a troublemaker now. But for the good. For the good, right? Like, I ain't sitting behind bars. Thank God. But I wish you guys the best, man. I just want to share things. I want to document certain things in my life, man. Because I know one day my kids will look at some of my videos and be like, damn, that's my pops. He was spilling some real shit. I believe in him. He believed in other people. He believed in us. And he just wants us to be successful. Ain't no fun if the homies can't have none. With that being said, I wish you guys the very best. Don't forget to subscribe and do all that YouTube shit that they do on YouTube. And join my newsletter. Jump off of YouTube. Go into my ecosystem. Rock with me over there. I share a whole bunch of other stuff that I don't do on YouTube, because YouTube might want to give me strikes and fucking blackball me like other places decided to blackball me. So stay in contact. I wish you guys the best. Salute.